Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
With the assumption that fans would continue to cheer as if it were a middle school game, the WNBA believed it could manage Caitlin Clark's meteoric ascent and hoped to rough her up night after night. Plot twist, huh? Things didn't go according to plan when Clark was pummeled like it was Game 7 of the NHL playoffs.
Announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
There was more than one participant involved. This was about the identity of a whole league being ripped apart. There is more to this tale than meets the eye, so let's dissect it. This injury has the power to alter everything.
We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked.
It's actually hilarious. Caitlin Clark's quad strain strikes just when the WNBA seemed to be taking off, with viewership skyrocketing, jerseys selling like hotcakes, and every game being treated like the Super Bowl. Suddenly, the league is in a state of disarray.
Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
The whole thing is in the air. The fans are furious. The league is caught up in a frenzy, and the players are rushing. How could everything fall apart so quickly? Clark's injury is more than simply a player's absence. The WNBA's pulse is being momentarily taken out of the game. Her enthusiasm, attitude, and numbers were all a part of a narrative that was attracting millions of viewers to the league. That narrative is now on hold. It would be like losing the focal point of your whole performance if you were to go 2 weeks without Clark.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadricep strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
It wasn't intended for Clark's quad injury to cause such a stir. No more than 2 weeks. Fans, however, were not amenable to it. The backlash on social media was immediate. The stream of tweets poured in. In addition to being irate, fans are announcing complete boycotts. The catchphrase was, "I'm done watching until Clark comes back." Without her, every game seemed to fall short of the WNBA's promises.
It's the latter. It could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
Those who were yelling for her return and wearing handmade Clark jerseys coated in glitter glue had the loudest voices. Here's the twist, however. It was more than simply a game. It has to do with the brand. Clark was more than a mere athlete. She was the greatest gift to the WNBA. The momentum that the WNBA had been riding on thanks to Clark abruptly came to a stop. Both the league and the fans sensed it. The quiet was overwhelming.
There's no way. Every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
Another squad that has been riding high on Clark's shoulders is the Indiana Fever. All of a sudden, without their golden goose, they are attempting to keep everything together. Even though Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and the others are doing their hardest to fill in for Clark, it's difficult. Mitchell is acting as if she has 3 lungs. Boston is grabbing rebounds as if she were fending off demons. Without Clark, nothing is quite the same, even though Coach Stephanie White is revising game plans like she's in the Hunger Games.
NBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number 1 player.
Therefore, until their basketball messiah returns, all of the fans are boycotting the league. Here's the worst part, however. The Fever is demonstrating resilience by persevering in the face of adversity and obstacles. This squad may be able to weather the storm. However, they will need to demonstrate their ability to remain competitive as they prepare for the next games. The opponents they play against in the next games have been approximately as dangerous as lukewarm soup. I'm sorry, Chicago Sky, but at this moment, you're not frightening anybody.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
Caitlin Clark was doing more than simply racking up outstanding stats before the accident. The league narrative was being carried solely by her. She played more than simply basketball. They included celebrity shoutouts, sellouts, record-breaking views, and events. The whole WNBA was illuminated by Clark. Each time she touched the ball, the arena hummed. When she walked onto the court, you could feel the energy change. The enthusiasm is subdued. There is now a huge void where the attention-grabbing drama that surrounded Clark formerly existed. There is a sense of mediocrity in the league without Clark's consistent presence. Although people are still playing the games, their popularity has decreased. The league is also anxious because everyone understands that controversy sells, and that engine is now paused.
She's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
One player is abusing the attention as the WNBA waits for Clark to return. It concerns the whole league. And the league needs this type of attention in order to expand. Without Clark, the WNBA's true strength as a talented league is being seen. Yes, the face was Clark. However, it's becoming evident that she's only one aspect of the situation. And it will be very different when she comes back. The WNBA is changing, not simply surviving. How will the league manage the focus when Clark returns? That is the true question.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she's going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home, hoping to see Caitlin.
Consider this. After 2 weeks of rehabilitation, Caitlin Clark returns to the court with a bang. She is eager to prove herself to the world now that her quad is healed and her mind is clean. The WNBA isn't only holding out for her to come back. Anticipation is growing. The problem is that, unlike Clark, these players aren't yet well known. And for fans to really get to know them, it will require several injuries. The WNBA must now decide what to do. Do they continue to follow the Clark wave, or do they embrace this as a chance for personal development? Will they remain in Clark's shadow forever, or are they prepared to allow the fan base to expand beyond one MVP? In the next weeks, it will become clear whether the league can reinvent itself as a whole, or if it will continue to cling to its MVP's coattails.
Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can...
That's the problem, however. The league can no longer afford to depend on a single star. The WNBA has to figure out how to keep fans interested, even when their idol isn't playing if they are splitting over Clark's injury. Even if this injury is regrettable, will it mark the beginning of a new era in women's basketball? You can't just revisit that chance on ESPN+. When Caitlin Clark returns to the WNBA, it will be more than just hoops. It will be the Queen's comeback, and it will be an incredible event.